about the people that they brought around from all over the world, the 200 teachers they brought from the 501st Legion, and brought them to the Rose Parade to pull off that big event that they had. They had a whole like giant swath of the parade was stormtroopers. So that was also very exciting. And again, it's just because of the trust that Lucasfilm has in us and always representing the character properly, having guys who have, guys and women who have great hearts, who want to use their costumes for a good purpose in the community. And it's just incredible that they've put their trust in us and let us do these different events. And I'm very thankful for that. Okay, I think I've spoken enough. Does anybody have any questions about the club itself or any things about specific costumes? We love to talk about this stuff, so we could be here all day.
Yeah.
Feel free, don't be afraid.
We're not gonna fight you.
Is there an age requirement to
Yes.
join the club?
18,
There is an age 18.
but we do have the Galactic Academy.
We have the Galactic Academy that a lot of guys, especially guys who have children in our club, kind of got together and said, hey, you know, my kid wants to wear a super movie accurate, but a small one. We have a Galactic Academy where there's guys who buy and trade small downsized costumes that are remarkable. You look at the little stormtroopers sometimes that some of the guys bring, some of the children that they bring to the events, and it's remarkable. They look like just a shrunken down, perfectly sized, perfectly proportioned stormtrooper. So there is a Galactic Academy for younger folks, and that's a good way to get started. If you're just looking for tips, even just for Halloween, you're looking for tips on how to get the costume reasonably accurate, you know, for someday maybe joining the 501st, you can look at some of our forums. We actually have an interesting thing called detachments. For each different type of costume, there's a detachment. For instance, for the Stormtroopers, there's a detachment called the White Armor Detachment, also known as the 1st Imperial Stormtrooper Detachment. There's a website that has all information, all resources, photos, resources, places that you can buy different parts and different accessories for the costume are all located on that site. So anybody who's interested in a Stormtrooper, we point them to, go to whitearmor.net, and that's where you'll find everything you need to find out about Stormtroopers. If you're looking at the Emperor or Darth Vader or another Sith Lord, there's a Sith Lord detachment that has all the information about every different kind of Vader from each different movie, what the light sequences are, the lights for different movies, what the paint scheme is like in different movies, because believe it or not, it did vary between movies greatly. And we actually approve very specific Vaders. There's a New Hope Vader, Empire Strikes Back Vader, Return of the Jedi Vader, and there's even a prequel Vader, and now there's even a Rogue One Vader.
Well, they're working on that.
They're working on what they call the CRL, the Costume Reference Library for that, so that we can guide people as if you want to do the Rogue One Vader, these are all the parts you need. This is the paint scheme.
These points.
There's really subtle things you wouldn't even notice if you could just show the gloves, because I only noticed this, I had no idea.
Stitching patterns vary from glove to glove. Shape of the gloves vary from movie to movie. Same thing with the belt buckle. You see the little slits on the belt buckle? It varies from movie to movie, the shape of the slits. Some of them have rounded tops, some have rectangular tops, some are narrower, some are wider. The smallest one in A New Hope is just a drilled circle. It varies. There's quite differences in the helmets. The only thing that you can take from one movie to the other is the leather bodysuit, the shin guards, and the boots. Everything else is different. Subtly different, but different. Yes?
What would you say was the most memorable event you've ever attended for the charity?
I would say every hospital event we do. I mean, we just
Yeah.
did a hospital about a month ago in Stony Brook, and it's not a big event. It's not like when we did the Cradle of Aviation, we have thousands of people and it's nonstop photos, and we have 30 stormtroopers. When we do a hospital event, it's usually like 3 to 4 stormtroopers or Darth Vader and some other characters, and we only visit maybe 10 or 15 kids, but those kids really appreciate the visit. Those kids are usually really sick, they're going through some kind of treatment, they're going through some kind of rough time. And we visit them personally in each of their rooms, we give them some cards, we give them, these little tickets I give out that, say that you're in violation, you have to pay a fine to the Empire. And these kids, their faces just light up. And you see what a difference you can make just dressing in a plastic costume and taking some time out to go to a hospital and visit some kids. It's unbelievable. Those are the most rewarding trips for me. We do about 5 or 6 of them a year, and I can't even describe to you how emotional they sometimes get when you see a kid who's going through a rough time, who looks like, they're really suffering, and then you see them they see you and they just like kind of light up. It's just an unbelievable feeling.
Weird Al is fun too.
Weird Al, that's another funny side story. Weird Al is a big fan of us, and because he's a huge geek in real life.
You would have to, they have no clue.
You don't know who?
You don't know who Weird Al is?
I know who he is.
Okay.
Most
Weird Al Yankovic.
most teenage kids do
My
not.
son is Weird Al Yankovic in his Living Legends project for this coming Wednesday at St.
Wow,
Anne's.
he's
Check
a-
him out.
Wow. This picture here is celebrations. All those people you see there are members of the Legion. We got, that's a big convention, held every, well, they held it
As a matter of fact,
almost
this is gonna be taking place in a couple weeks in Orlando.
every 30 days.
What
Weird
day?
Al-
my tickets.
You haven't got your tickets?
Well, Weird Al Yankovic is a song
flying out
parody
already.
artist who's been around since the 80s, and he's done
We're flying
hundreds
down
and
the
hundreds of
8th.
song parodies.
Let me put it this way, you're not big until Weird Al
It's the
parodies
11th
your
to the
song.
14th.
Yes, that's true. You haven't made it yet in music. Well, every year he comes around, he does concerts. Every year for the past, since I've been
It's
in
in
the Legion for
Orlando.
10 years.
Tickets already.
Usually at Westbury Music Fair or Radio City Music Hall or
The
in
estimated is
Paramount
gonna be
out in
between 6,000 and
Huntington.
7,000.
He'll invite us to come to the show, he'll have us backstage, he'll feed us, and he'll have us come on stage when he does, what's the song?
The legend begins.
The Legend Begins.
I
Saga
heard that
Saga
one.
Begins.
That one's fun.
He does that funny Saga Begins song, and then he has like 8 stormtroopers and Darth Vader come on stage, and we do a whole dance routine that by now, I've done it about 8 times, I know it by heart at this point.
It's gonna
But
be a rockhead soon.
I gotta tell
Search
you,
for Rockettes. I
for
love
me,
that.
as a geek, when I was a kid, 15 in high school and stuff, listening to music, I was the geek who always loved Weird Al and thought he was hilarious. To be part of his show and actually hang out with him and get autographs from him and be actually in the show is just, it's like a dream come true for me. It's like, it was almost surreal the first time I did it. I'm like, I can't believe I'm standing here. And it's all because I put together a plastic costume. It's just crazy. But as I mentioned before, it's so much more than that. You put together a plastic costume, and what I always say to guys, some of the guys initially who meet us at conventions say, well, I just want a stormtrooper. That's all I want to do. I don't want to do any of this stuff. I said,
We have women too, by the way.
I keep saying,
Oh, yeah, they're female stormtroopers.
we do have about 20% women who do various costumes. Some of the stormtroopers that we had at the Cradle last week were women that you would never know because they were in stormtrooper outfits. But yeah, you can kind of tell the way they swag.
And position themselves, that's it.
Yeah, but what I tell people who are just interested in the stormtrooper armor, I say to them, "What are you going to do with it? You're going to spend $1,000, $1,500 on perfect movie accurate stormtrooper armor that's going to sit up in your attic or on a mannequin? What's the point? The whole purpose of doing this is not only can you do this, but you can show it off. You can help the community. You can use it for something good, and you can meet some incredible people. I can't tell you. Some of these guys I've known for 8 or 10 years since I've been in this club. It's such a fraternal type organization that you make such fast friends. It's unbelievable. And because it's not only the Star Wars, liking Star Wars that binds us. It's also being through doing the costume, also having that love for accuracy, also having that need to give back to the community. It brings a lot of very like-minded people together, and that's one of the things I love about the group. That's the thing I love most about the group.
Do you want to hear all of our favorite troops, or would you like to
Sure, go ahead.
move on?
Do you have a favorite troop, Ryan?
My favorite troop was actually Star Wars Weekend. I actually found this organization through Disney, actually, when I went to Star Wars Weekend when I graduated NASA Community. So within probably a year, I put forth I joined the sister organization, the Rebel Legion. With
We're
a
the
Jedi.
bad guys, there's also a good guy.
Yeah, we should mention
And I'll mention it.
Some of us are dual members, one doesn't preclude the other.
I was going to ask if you could be in more than one character. if
Depends
you
on the day
wanted
of the
to.
week. Depends
Yes.
on the week.
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes we have guys who, if you need to sit down, or I have an X-Wing costume that I wear sometimes if I need to run a table, and then I'll switch into a stormtrooper later on the day.
Right.
And a lot of us, the other thing I would like to mention, sorry, let me just mention one other thing. The other thing about this group is once you get in it, you start seeing other people's costumes, and you go, oh my God, I'd really like to do that. Oh my God, you end up with like 5 or 6 costumes. I personally now have about 6 costumes. I have the Stormtrooper, the new Stormtrooper from the new movie, which I can tell a little story about that later. The Emperor, and I have 2 Rebel costumes. I have an X-Wing pilot and a Luke from Return of the Jedi. Oh, and a Biker Scout. I've forgotten how many costumes I've accumulated. Almost every year I'm like, what am I going to do this year? I got to do something. And then you kind of rotate them. Like today I'm wearing the Stormtrooper. Tomorrow when we do the polar plunge, it's going to be like 15 degrees outside. We don't actually do the plunge. We just take pictures with the folks there. it's still gonna be freezing. I can wear the biker scout and like put clothes underneath it and actually be like snug under the biker scout outfit. So that's more of an outfit that I'll wear for like a trip like that. Plus I can actually drive in, except for a few parts, I can actually drive around. And it's embarrassing as hell with my kids when I drive up in my complete outfit except for like the helmet and they're like, Dad, oh my God.
He's that guy.
I'm that guy. I'm embarrassed the heck out of my kids. I'm sorry, Bob, what were we gonna say about celebration review day?
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Oh, okay, okay.
I was saying, Star Wars weekend.
Oh, yes, right, and we have the big celebration coming up in April.
Right.
There's a big celebration, they have all the Star Wars actors come and all the 501st Legion members and all the Star Wars fans gather for the celebration that's held every year. And it's usually either in Europe or it's in California or it's in Orlando. This year it's in Orlando. Most of our members are probably.
Last year was in London.
Last year was in London.
It alternates between the United States and Europe.
Yeah, every other year it goes back and forth. Yeah, but just one note about the costumes. The First Order Stormtrooper, if you see the cards that we were passing around, you might see one that's of my new First Order Stormtrooper costume. That one I just actually finished back in October, and that's also a pricey costume. That's about $2,500. That's actually not even available to the public yet. We had a special arrangement with the company that makes the costume that's coming out with it in September of this year. They offered it as an exclusive to the 501st members to put it together, to try to test it out and give them feedback on it. And I was lucky enough to get one of the first like beta costumes that they came out with. And I'm proud to say I'm only the second person in New York who actually has the fully put together First Order Stormtrooper. So I was privileged and proud to actually get it together, and I was thrilled to actually wear it for the first time back in October of last year.
Chris, there's also something else. Who here has seen Rogue One?
Of course.
Oh, come
Everybody
on!
Come on! Stop lying! Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay, for the rest of you that aren't lying, most of those stormtroopers that you see, they're actually members of the British Garrison.
Yeah, there's a couple of them that are actually members of the British, and in the Force Awakens, there's a couple that actually participated in the Force
The
Awakens.
R2s were all built by the British Garrison.
Even if we have members that have actually made droids for the movies as well.
Yeah, when they
You
come,
got a question?
Someone a question?
So, you guys seem to be pretty dedicated followers of Star Wars.
Yeah.
What was the general reaction when you guys found out that not only were we getting a new trilogy, but like so many new movies are coming out?
Happy to enjoy.
I lost my mind. I lost my mind. I mean, we went through this, you guys are too young to remember, I hope. When the prequels came out, I was very excited and very disappointed. Phantom Menace,
The best worst day of my life.
yeah, I came out of it
Except for Maul.
going, some of it was okay. I thought, oh my
I was
God.
your guys' age when A New Hope came out. I saw it opening weekend. So,
Yep.
that's how long I've been a fan.
So you can imagine pins and needles when Force Awakens was coming out. I was like, please don't suck.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
don't
please
screw
don't.
us up.
I didn't even remember the movie after
How
I saw
could
it the
you
first
mess this
time,
up?
because the entire movie, I was thinking, okay, you're doing okay,
First
don't
show.
screw it up. Oh, it's pretty good, don't screw it up. So
Yeah,
I was so
gotcha.
distracted by
Me so.
waiting for the Jar Jar Binks moment that I couldn't even pay attention. So the next day, when I saw it the second time, I could actually sit back and enjoy it and go, oh, okay, yeah, that was pretty good. I actually enjoyed it a lot. There's a lot of dissension among our ranks about whether The Force Awakens was any good or not. A lot of people think it's too much like the first movie, like the first Star Wars.
That was by design, by the way.
I think that worked. I think it will introduce a whole new generation to that storyline, and it will get people excited about Star Wars again. And I think it's worked. I think you see the reaction to that movie and Rogue One and the movie that's coming out in December, The Last Jedi. It's just going to be a whole new generation of Star Wars fans. I know we're like going crazy. We're just going